the season of pumpkin spices, family reunions, sweet treats, costumes. But most of all, it's the season of spooks and giving thanks. The most noteworthy days of the season being October 31st, Halloween, and November 25th, Thanksgiving. This story does not follow the birth of those glorious days. This story follows the birth of another, October 10th. October 10th, 1993 was the birth date of a miracle that came in the shape of a boy. Before 1993, October 10th was just another day, but that soon changed. Little did the people of Nikao Akita, Japan know what this little boy would later go on to accomplish. As time went on, the young boy grew, and so did his passion for manga. Dare I say this passion soon resembled an obsession. That obsession went on to materialize from drawing his favorite manga characters to thinking up his own Shonen Jump-esque magazine in which he would cut and serialize his own manga.
This silence is the foundation from where everything rises and falls back.
By his first years of high school, this young man began to submit his manga to different Japanese manga websites. Right after graduation, the young man kept writing manga and perfecting his craft, and went on to receive awards after submitting several manga in different manga award contests. His one-shots stood out so much that One Punch Man / Mob Psycho author 1 and the author of Tokyo Ghoul, Sui Ishida, both noticed them. Soon this boy's dreams became a reality. From a boy with a dream to reinventing manga, this is the tale of Tatsuki Fujimoto. Tatsuki Fujimoto got his bachelor's degree in Western painting at Tohoku University of Art and Design, located in Yamagata in 2014. Western painting is a style of art that was practiced in the prehistoric era, otherwise referred to as oil painting. Fujimoto had to choose his major in oil painting due to the Akita prefecture where he resided at the time not having a proper art school to suit his mangaka needs, as when he was younger his grandparents attended painting classes with him. But that minor setback didn't hinder his passion whatsoever. If anything, it showcases undeniable artistic capabilities and conviction. A big life lesson that one can learn from the 28-year-old author is that if you have any aspiration in life, do not let any circumstance get in the way of that. Unfortunately, that lesson has been said so many times that it's become somewhat of a cliche. Well, rest assured, Fujimoto embodies that life lesson to a T. Upon researching his life, it's become eerily vivid that ever since Fujimoto gained consciousness, he's had a passion for manga. He's in the belief that in order to achieve greatness or get better in a particular medium, you must first be a student of that medium. As his only advice to up-and-coming mangakas is to get a Netflix account, which can be passed off as a joke, but in reality is a brilliant way of conveying that same student of the medium ideology can actually prove to be helpful when it comes to creating a new piece of entertainment.
Sometimes it's essential to look at the people or things that inspire the people or things that inspire us, regardless of living or non.
Fujimoto was inspired by many works growing up. I don't think it's fair to name the inspirations for Tatsuki Fujimoto's mangas individually, especially since Fujimoto himself stated that he takes certain aspects from different shows and/or movies, then embeds them into his own work. For Fujimoto specifically, rather than listing the authors who inspired him, it would be more so fair to talk about the demographic of manga he takes the most elements from and is most influenced by, which is referred to as seinen. Seinen manga is not another genre of manga. It's manga that is catered to a more mature male audience, and it even has a counterpart, josei manga, which is catered to a more mature female audience. Seinen manga, unlike shonen manga, is usually more complex, violent, and even suggestive. Shonen manga is catered to young adults and tends to be more straightforward, and most of the time, more mainstream. With that said, there has been huge seinen manga and anime such as Berserk, One Punch Man, Tokyo Ghoul Erased, and a very underrated personal favorite of mine, Monster. All of those shows/mangas have something in common, and that is the more mature subject matter. With that said, Fujimoto's most famous piece of work, Chainsaw Man, can easily be passed off as a seinen, due to it being very similar to one from the subject matter, themes, and I won't spoil anything, but the main character, Denji's conviction, is way more explainable if it's aimed at a shonen dominant. Well, what I'm saying is that for a shonen manga, Denji's conviction, if you can even call it that, is one of a kind. With that said, Chainsaw Man is actually listed as a shonen manga much like Attack on Titan. And like Attack on Titan, Chainsaw Man is breaking boundaries, meaning that we could be witnessing a new era for shonen manga and anime altogether. In order to make a compelling story, you must have standout characters, elegant world building, a setting, clean structure, good pacing, and most of all, something unique to make it stand out. It's rare for a story to have all of those things that I named, so it's quite common for one to have, for example, good characters but a boring plot, meaning that most of the times your story will be unbalanced until you eventually master all those different aspects. Note, unbalanced does not mean bad. The only way to get better is by practice and repetition. Fujimoto did not shy away from that at all, as he has 11 published one-shot mangas that quite literally document his growth in all departments of what it takes to develop an interesting story. A one-shot manga is a one-off standalone story, the length of it typically being from 15 to 60 pages. However, a one-shot manga can develop into a full-fledged manga series, depending on various factors, but the most common ones being attention and demand it generates. You can compare a mangaka releasing a one-shot manga to a musician releasing an EP. EPs usually consist of 2 to 5 songs. The purpose of an EP is typically one of 3 reasons. Reason 1 is to test the waters and see how people react. Reason 2 can be to experiment with a different sound. Reason 3 is to keep the interest in their music alive between albums. Fujimoto has demonstrated a similar formula as a musician by releasing his latest one-shot manga Look Back between the first and second parts of Chainsaw Man. Earlier, I stated that Fujimoto has 11 one-shot mangas, but in total he has 13 works, 2 of the 13 being Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man.
Fire Punch was Fujimoto's first official manga series that was published in Shonen Jump Plus. It's a twisted thriller that tells the story of a young boy named Agni who lives in a post-apocalyptic world. In this world, there are those who have powers known as blessings, including our main character who has the blessing of regeneration. However, this blessing soon becomes a curse once Agni's entire village is burned down and he is left as the sole survivor, doomed to endure the searing flames as his blessing of regeneration won't let him die. With burning hatred in his heart, Agni seeks revenge against the man who made his life a living hell. Much like Chainsaw Man, Fire Punch has a unique balance of absurdity and heart that makes it truly stand out. Fujimoto's first official one-shot, which was made in 2011, Niwa 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 Niwatori Gaita, then later re-released on Shonen Jump Plus in 2017, is about aliens who have come to inhabit the Earth. In 2019, the war between humans and aliens began, but that war was short-lived as humans were promptly defeated and overpowered by them. So now, the main characters, Yuto and Ami, must wear chicken costumes so the aliens mistake them for chickens. Well, mainly because the aliens are known to eat any humans they come across, still, luckily not chickens. This works for them until they get caught by an alien who easily sees through their costumes. But to the surprise of the 2 cosplaying humans, this alien wants to help them.
The one-shot is a comedy thriller with some action that attempts to tackle some grand themes, such as morality, but unfortunately doesn't have the same potency that we've come accustomed to in Fujimoto's later works. The one-shot was good enough to be nominated for the December 2011 Jump SQ magazine, otherwise known as Jump Square, a monthly shonen manga magazine. The one-shot has some standout moments, like an early look into Fujimoto's unique art style when it comes to portraying several different personality traits and emotions in a single manga panel. Since his first one-shot, Fujimoto has demonstrated an extraordinary way of making a simple emotion distorted and almost hard to comprehend. Since the majority of his manga have some thriller and comedy elements to them, this way of portraying emotions has proven quite effective, mainly because you just don't know what to expect.
No, wait. It's not over. With the passing of time, Fujimoto once again showcased his signature ability of true unpredictability, shown by releasing his latest one-shot manga, Goodbye Eri, and a collab one-shot manga named Just Listen to the Song, which is written by Tatsuki Fujimoto and illustrated by Oto Toda. But that's not all. Chainsaw Man Part 2 is finally out. What's interesting is that unpredictability and reinvention go hand in hand. If time has proven one thing, it's proven that Fujimoto embodies both these qualities.
Tossed between the past and the future.
After the conclusion of the Chainsaw Man anime in December 2022, Fujimoto's career had taken a somewhat unpredictable turn when the audience reception to the anime was quite different from anticipated, due to various factors including the more serious and dull color palette, the use of CGI during some action scenes. There was also a petition launched to have the director for the anime changed. To top it off, it seemed as though a vocal minority did not view the anime as a faithful adaptation, and the Japanese audience echoed this sentiment as the Blu-ray sales for the Chainsaw Man anime were quite lackluster. On the other hand, there was a large sum of fans that loved the way the anime adapted the manga, and praised it for its bold, risky, and ambitious approach. Despite the audience reception and everything else surrounding it, it would be extremely unfair to call the anime anything less than incredible from a technical standpoint. So thank you to the animators at Studio Mappa for bringing our favorite series to life, and we seriously hope the work conditions and pay become more fruitful and flexible in favor of the animators. Fujimoto himself was involved in the production process of Chainsaw Man Season 1, and since the anime took a more cinematic approach that mimicked cinema, Fujimoto seemed to have really enjoyed the end results. The new Chainsaw Man movie has finally been announced, followed by a teaser trailer 1 year after the conclusion of Chainsaw Man Season 1. The movie will be covering the Rize arc. Fans regard this as one of the best arcs in all of Chainsaw Man. This arc represents a turning point for the narrative and all characters involved. This movie can potentially evolve into a second season. This could also contribute to establishing much more of a solid base for the Chainsaw Man anime, as the first season only had 12 episodes. All of that could contribute to the Blu-ray sales in a positive way, and that's further fueled by the rumors of the art style and director being different from Season 1.
This silence is the foundation from where everything rises and falls back.
The Chainsaw Man Part 2 manga has spent roughly 50 plus chapters on establishing a new protagonist named Asa, alongside further developing Denji as a character. Things have gotten really exciting as the manga is hitting its own major turning point, much like Part 1. But, make no mistake, Chainsaw Man Part 2 is a different entity than Chainsaw Man Part 1. Yet based off the current events, they complement each other quite well. Fujimoto had mentioned in an interview back in July of 2023 that he wouldn't be opposed to handing the reins over to someone else when it comes to the art of the Chainsaw Man manga. His reasoning for doing this would be so he could focus his full attention and effort onto the story of the series. It is very understandable why he would feel this way, since the weekly Shonen Jump deadlines can be quite stressful for many mangakas. In the same interview, Fujimoto talks about how he hired some assistants in the past, specifically for his look back one-shot that was released in 2021, but he stated it was very financially straining, so he hasn't had help since. If Fujimoto does decide to go through with this change, it could possibly alter the feel of the Chainsaw Man manga, depending on how much creative control Fujimoto would allow to an artist. Fujimoto's career is in a very interesting spot. Where he goes from here is immensely unpredictable. Fujimoto has shown that he is capable of telling stories that are quite distinct from each other, yet similar in quality, evident through his recent one-shot manga. And what makes him especially intriguing is, as established before, Fujimoto is heavily inspired by the world, what's around him, and what he consumes. He takes everything he consumes, distorts and molds it into something new that often results in readers taking away different things from his work. He showcased true reinvention and isn't afraid to take risks, regardless of if they pay off. Where Fujimoto's career will go from here will either be a testament to the times and how things seem to come and go, or his art will stand the test of time and become immortalized.